We're going to do an ascension check-in and touch in with the twin flame divine counterpart ascension collective. I don't know about you, but I'm in the process of integrating and grounding in some very big aspects. I can feel a significant amount of thawing happening in my system, a lot of purification happening in my system. For those of you who have not watched my most recent Divine Feminine message from this past weekend, I'm going to drop that in the pinned comment because I feel like that will have quite a bit of information if you're feeling any of these intense energies. Over the past week or so, some very ancient energies have been resurfacing for us to purify and clean up, but also to retrieve those aspects of ourself. So support your body in whatever it's needing. There's been quite a bit of spaces and places where there was shock in the system and or dissociation. So I'm also going to drop a video that I did back in July around dissociation, ADHD, parasites, and the twin flame connection. Those were just some like downloads I was receiving, but those similar energies are coming back up at this time. So I'm going to drop that in the pinned comment as well. So we're going to other deeper layers and levels of this energy. And to me, this signals how much deeper we're getting into the depths of who we are, but also into the depths of this planetary shift into the new energies. Okay. I want to pull some cards for the overall. Oh, okay. Earlier, there was definitely like the energy of some new perspectives coming in and working together. The way that we've worked together is coming in a new way. And just right there, the Six of Pentacles came out, which to me is like that rebalancing of the karmic energies, the give and take, the codependency. So there's something big happening right now in the energetics around how we're running our energy. And I can speak from my experiences and the people that I've been talking to and working with. There's a definite discernment that the feminine energies, whether you identify as a feminine or simply you are working with your internal feminine energies, are being called to release any past attachments or connections to anything in the older energies and fully get into energetic alignment with your highest timeline, your highest potential. And what I've been shown is that there was actually a lot of feminines that were holding such a huge, ginormous space lovingly for the planet that many did not realize where they were actually still holding space. Because the capacity of the feminines to hold loving space unconditionally was so huge that she was still holding, oh, it's 333 collective energies. But what happened over this past week or so is that we were called to pull out of those energies and allow them to fall and to disintegrate and dissolve because the energies, the new energies were actually in place. So it may seem like an external tower moment or tower moments happening, but it's just actually the distortion and the distortion dissolving. Okay. So as that dissolves, we'll see that actually the energy that we've been putting in and working so deeply at is actually stabilized underneath and ready to expand and support the overall collective planetary energies. This is what I've been being shown. So if you haven't experienced that yet, or you're in process of it and you're kind of teeter-tottering with one foot in both worlds, or all of a sudden a bunch of things come up and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was still there. I didn't even know I was still feeding that energy, then you know where it's time for you to begin to exit and pull out. What I'm also being shown is that this is actually an awesome transition because we're really, really, really ready to move more into the new. And we might say, well, why are we always saying this? Each and every moment that we're here, and each day we are progressing forward. And then there's moments where we take these leaps. And you might think that sometimes it feels like, well, why aren't we there yet? We are literally changing an entire way of being, and it's beginning within ourselves. So these processes, you might notice your progress and acknowledge it. And then the next day, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling it even deeper today. We are truly, truly embodying ourselves in a way that we never, ever have. So it seems slower, but it's not, because what's happening is we're actually truly embodying in these energies versus just skimming the surface of these energies. We are becoming the change. We are becoming what we've been asking for. Okay. So this process is the transformation. It is the move from the caterpillar to the butterfly. It is the absolute transformation from the 3D into the 5D, but we're still embodying in physical 3D vessels. But we are morphing into the abilities to be able to hold those higher frequencies within our physical bodies. This is a major, major, major transformation. We're not leaving the planet. We're not leaving anywhere. We're staying right where we are and embodying the frequencies here in the present in our bodies. Okay. So this is huge. And so we're called to different things at different times. And wherever you are is absolutely perfect. Okay. Overall, what the sense is, the gist is that the feminines have stabilized more and more and more. And as the feminines stabilize, it's allowing the masculines to let the tower crumble so that they can now move into the new energies as well. But they're going to be going through their processes, their dark nights of the souls, or however that pans out for them. The thing is it's not about anybody projecting what it's supposed to be, what we thought it was supposed to be, what we want it to be. It is what it is. It's not for us to know what the masculines are going to walk through, or even what it is for us to focus on our own internal masculine and supporting that, or the masculines that present within the feminine's lives as she's learned helping to support him, healing deeper her own inner masculine as well. But we're going to do a check-in and see what the masculines would like to share around their part of the ascension process right here and right now. And then we're going to do the same with the feminines. So, wow, okay. The masculines are tapping into an internal truth in an intuitive way. They're being called to begin to ground into the earth what they're beginning to see internally in an intuitive way. There's a maturing happening, but there's also a realization around the breadcrumbs that they've received in the past. And that's twofold. One, realizing that they're receiving breadcrumbs in comparison to what they could truly be experiencing, but also that there have been these breadcrumbs along their path to show them everything that they are needing to know. They simply have to tap into their own inner knowing and their inner truth and be willing to dissolve the numbness and ask for the truth. And as they do, it's going to support them in beginning to build this new version of the world that they've actually been wanting for themselves all along. So there's this combo that's happening, And feminines, if you're here, think of this with your internal masculine as well. There's these energies of dissolving out the parts of what aren't working, keeping what was working, and building upon it with the new energies, the truth, the intuitive energies, the inner knowing, and then allowing more of those energies to come forth and allow the physical world building to begin to take place, but as guided by the higher light. Okay. And let's see where the feminine energies are at. This is both you who identify as feminines, but internal feminines energies for the masculines as well. Yeah. So the feminines have a tower moment as well. This is where these start to get so crisscrossed, and it makes sense, right? Because if the masculines are going through a tower, it put the feminines through their own power of walking away out of those old energies, like I said. And then the King of Wands is coming forward. Just give me a minute. I feel like there's a little more that wants to come through. Look at that. The feminines got the Six of Cups as well. Okay. One more. Same position. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So there's definitely a mirroring. Um, so we have the truth and the collapse of what isn't true. We have the grounding into the earth and igniting this inner flame and passion. And then we have the mirroring of the Six of Cups, is both masculines and feminines are maturing, releasing where they were receiving breadcrumbs in comparison to the whole meal, and also realizing the breadcrumbs that were left along the path to help them understand what they truly deserve. And then as the masculines are reaching for that higher power and that higher guidance and following their intuition, the feminines are holding space within those intuitive energies, almost like a beacon, not pushing, not forcing, not doing anything except for standing in her own energy, which is automatically allowing the masculines to see their way through the shadows. So, like I've said, the collectives continue to work together, whether they're in physical world communication or not. There is a very deep synergistic energy happening to rebalance these energies and bring them into harmonious balance as both collectives are working to continue to clear out and dissolve what isn't in that highest alignment and allow more and more of the new to come in. Just like I spoke about allowing the other energies to crumble because there's that realization that so much of it actually is already energetically built. Many of the seeds have been planted. Many of the seeds have not only been planted, but they're beginning to sprout and grow and build to the point that they actually need the energies to crumble so that they have space to grow. So this is coming through. It's kind of like where the masculines were squished and couldn't see. As that old membrane collapses, now they can see exactly which direction that they're wanting and needing to go. So see this as the internal and external messages that are occurring right now. I do feel like there's some other energies that messages that want to come through. So I'm just going to be open to what wants to come through around this topic of how the masculine and feminine collectives are working together. Beautiful. So we have healing earth, a power to give and receive healing from the feminine, the high priestess deck, I think, priestess of light. And then from the shaman dream deck, we have the farther gate, bold step forward. So as the energies, especially the feminines, are working with that internal union and knowing the nice, proper balance of giving and receiving, this is allowing the masculines, again, remember I said she was holding the light? It's allowing the masculines to also open up and see the pathway. We have these energies being mirrored again. It's like she's beaming, he's seeing and reaching, and here, same thing. Like it's opening. It starts out as this small opening of energy, and it's going to be expanding for both as the energies get more and more stable. So I want to ask, what can the feminines do to support this process? And also, what can the masculines do to support this process? What can we be aware of as we're moving forward? And right out of the gate, it's coming in to be open and receptive to receiving the energies and communication and connection that are in alignment. Whatever's present for you now that's in alignment, that's supporting you, that's nourishing you, work with that. Because what it does feel like is that there's going to be some physical world manifestations occurring for both. And it's like they're going to come in hand, and these things that manifest or present for both the masculines and feminines are going to be new clues around what are the next steps to take. And it feels both physically world fruitful energies and spiritually fruitful energies for both parties. It feels actually, interestingly, though, that the feminines are going to be receiving more physical, material, manifested, physical reality world experiences. And it's going to flip flop, and the masculines will be receiving more intuitive, spiritual supports. Okay. But this is going to help them balance within their own energetic fields and allowing the collectives to meet in the heart space. So it's not that they're abandoning their natural energies of the masculines being in the lower physical world and the feminines being in the spiritual world. What's happening is that the portals are opening within each so that they can meet in the middle, balance and harmonize and support one another within their strengths, and also receiving codes, keys, and supports from one another in divine timing. Okay. All right. So have that awareness that you're still holding your natural space, but you're also learning how to navigate the other space. And what this is going to do is create more of that internal union, but also a stabilization point for the masculine and feminine collectives to be able to come into harmonious unions collectively and as units. However that plays out planetarily is going to be, individual for each person, each couple, at each pair of counterparts. And I'm seeing it even moving into the monads. So it's, if somebody, say, has a counterpart that's not physically incarnated, but you have a twin connection, like you can still connect with your physical world family monad, your soul monad. So I'm seeing and sensing that there's going to be a lot more, and it's going to be a lot bigger than just only connecting with your divine counterpart or twin flame. Soul families, monads are going to be coming together. So I'm also seeing that some of that may happen before the counterparts come back together in the physical, to allow the strengthening of the unit and the support system of understanding, to allow more like strength in numbers to build and grow and come together. And that's just coming in hot off the presses. That makes actually a lot of sense to me with things I've personally been experiencing, reconnecting and connecting with soul fam. So there you have it. Those are some tips to be aware of, just some thoughts. Obviously, always follow your highest truth and your internal guidance above all. I love you. I'm so grateful that you're here with me. And as always, I would love to hear from you. And I appreciate so deeply your subscribes and your likes and your shares. Love you. Bye.